I've built hundreds of different funnels, DM funnels, webinar funnels, VSL funnels, every guru-approved funnel you can think of. And over the past 3 years, I've worked with dozens of coaches where I could actually test those funnels inside real businesses. Some of them scaling to 50K, 100K, or even 200K per month. For example, just last week, we made my client Richard collect $23,000 in a single week. Now, somewhere along the way, I noticed something that almost no one talks about. Most coaches still believe that the problem comes from the number of leads they generate, but they are completely wrong, because after seeing all those coaching businesses from the inside, I realized one crucial thing. The funnel you use matters much more than the number of leads you generate. Like, you can get 1,000 leads a month with a bad funnel and generate no more than 5K, or get only 100 leads with the right funnel and make more than 50K. Now, what's the difference? It's not only the funnel you use, it's actually the psychology behind the funnel you use. Friend, I'm gonna tell you something that I should probably keep as a professional secret, but every single one of the highest performing funnels I've observed in coaching businesses all had one thing in common, which is that they were all built on the same core psychology. Now, they use different strategies, of course, but the core psychology was always the same. And everything clicked when I connected this back to my psychology studies. Because for those who don't know, when I was studying behavioral psychology in Switzerland, I discovered something about buying behavior that 99% of people completely ignore, which is that before a human being makes a decision to buy something, there's a very specific set of psychological triggers that needs to be activated in the brain, one by one. In other words, a buying decision only occurs after a defined sequence of psychological triggers has been activated in the brain. Now, there are 3 of them, 3 psychological triggers, and I want you to think of it as 3 doors that we need to open before someone can buy from us. And I'm gonna reveal them to you today. And even better, at the end of the video, I'll reveal the only funnel that activates all of them 3 automatically. So my friend, let's dive into the ultimate funnel comparison of the year and uncover which one is the very best for coaching businesses. Okay, before we dive into the funnels, we first need to understand how to evaluate them. To do so, I built a 5 criteria comparison table. It's actually the same table I use to audit the businesses of the coaches I work with. Here are the 5 criteria. The first one is the lead quality. How qualified are the leads when they jump on the sales call? The second one is scalability. How scalable is the funnel? The third one is upfront capital. What is the required investment? The fourth one is the conversion rate, the conversion percentage. And the fifth and last one is the complexity to set up. How difficult it is to set this funnel up. So the goal is to find a funnel with a high lead quality, a high scalability, a low upfront capital, a high conversion rate, and a low complexity to set up. To be honest, one of these funnels checks every box, while the other 4 are just time and money traps. And I'm being totally transparent with you, as I always am. Okay, let's dive in. First funnel, everyone knows it, the DM funnel. It's simple, it's free, it's direct. It's just about like posting content, getting people to DM you a certain word. Once they DM you, boom, setting conversation, you send them the Calendly link and you book them on a call. And on this call, you close them. So as we've seen, the DM funnel is simple, it's free, it's direct. But what about the criteria we set? Okay, when it comes to the DM funnel, the lead quality is very low, because literally anyone can DM you. Like, there is no pre-call filtering, and all the people that are just like curious to learn more are joining. It sucks. But what about the scalability? The scalability of the DM funnel is very low too. Why? Because every single prospect requires a manual conversation. Like, think about it. You can only send 50 to 100 DMs per day before burning out. And I see you coming, you will tell me, Nicholas, I can hire a setter, no problem for that. But the thing is, it's extremely hard to delegate, because the setter needs to be trained on your offer, on your story, on your values. It's almost impossible to take yourself and replicate it inside someone else's mind, right? So the scalability is very low. Now, what about the upfront capital? It's pretty cheap. And that's a good advantage when it comes to the DM funnel. But what about the conversion rate? It's low. Why is it low? Because there is no emotional build up in text. And to be honest, it's super easy to ghost. Like, if you don't want people to ghost you, you need to send many follow-ups. more manual work, more time spent in the trenches. It's not optimal. And to be honest, it takes at least 2 to 3 days just to book one guy. So conversion rate is low. Now, what about the complexity to set up? It's moderate. As I told you, you could hire a setter, but it's pretty hard to train them. And if you want to do it yourself, it's easy, but it takes a lot of time. So it's not scalable. So you gotta know what you want to sacrifice. Do you want to sacrifice your time by doing it yourself, or do you want to sacrifice the quality of your answers by hiring a setter? To be honest, I had a client that was using this exact funnel before he started working with me. And he was sending around 200 DMs per day, which means around like 6 hours per day in the DMs. And to be honest, he was maybe closing 3 to 4 calls a week. But when we switched to another funnel that I'm going to talk about at the end of the video, we had the same lead volume coming in, but we booked 20 calls automatically. And the best part is that almost none of them required DMs. So the verdict, the DM funnel keeps you trapped in your DMs. It's a job, not a business. Now let's get to the second funnel, the community funnel. Discord, school, Telegram, you build a community, you build a tribe. And the concept is to give them a lot of free value or really low ticket. And then you upsell them from the low ticket to the high ticket. Now, the promise of this funnel is that it's easier to sell once you've built a tribe. And to be honest, it sounds good. Like, I like that, and I agree with that as the psychology guy. But what about the real numbers? Let's check. The lead quality is very low. Why? Because a free or low ticket community attracts what we call freebie seekers. These are all the people with the I want the free stuff mindset. And believe me, you're not going to sell anything high ticket to them. And on top of that, the high ticket ascension rate from here to here is extremely low. Like, it's around 1 to 2% max. The scalability of the community funnel is moderate. It's a good model, to be honest, but not the best because it takes time to build a tribe. And the question is, how much can you get from this tribe you've built? As we've seen, not a lot, because only 1 or 2% get to the high ticket. Now, what about the price? What about the upfront capital? It's a bit more expensive because you need to build the community, which means you need a subscription to school, for example, and then you need to hire maybe community managers. This has a cost that the DM funnel doesn't have. Now, the conversion rate of the community funnel is very low. Why? Because members just want to extract as much free value as they can. And from what I've seen, there is a strong resistance to paying later because people are like, I already have everything in the community. Why would I need to pay something more? And that's the reason why the conversion rate is really low. Now, how about the complexity to set up? It's extremely complex. You need constant content to feed people. You need daily moderations. That's why I told you about the community manager. And you need to increase the fulfillment as the community grows. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but it's not the most optimal. So the community funnel is not that bad, but still a pretty hard funnel to run. And I mean, look at school. Thousands of communities between $20 and $97 per month. Among all of them, how many of them actually make serious money? Like, let's be honest, most creators actually spend their entire lives entertaining their community for peanuts. When if they had the right funnel, they could close 1 to 2 high ticket per week. And all of that automatically. Just saying. I mean, a school community is like opening a restaurant and giving out free samples every day. People love the samples, but they never buy the full meal because they're already full for free. So verdict, the community funnel, it's a lot of noise for very little money. So unless you have 50K followers, you can forget it. Now let's get to the third funnel. It's actually the most famous one. The book a call funnel. We all know this one. Charlie Morgan, Ty Lopez, they all run the book a call funnel. The promise is that less friction, wait, let me remove that. Less friction equals more bookings. And that's true. You book a lot, but booking doesn't equal closing. I mean, have a look. When we go through it, people come from ads. Then they're redirected to book a call from the ad. Then they get redirected to a landing page with a Calendly link. They book the call, and the goal is to close them. But as I told you, you book a lot of calls, but most of them are not qualified. So it's really hard to close them. Now let's get back to the criteria table. As I just told you, the lead quality is very low because they just come from an ad. They don't know shit about you. So how do you want in a 30-minute to 45-minute call, take them from stranger to buyer? It's extremely hard. What about the scalability? It's moderate. It's moderate because if you think about it, you can book a lot of calls. But more calls means more closers needed. More closers needed means you need to hire people. And you know how difficult hiring people is. So the scalability is moderate. Now, what about the upfront capital? It's moderate, but a bit more expensive than a community funnel, because if you want to build a book a call funnel, a proper book a call funnel, you would need a landing page. Or if you want to have great conversion rate, you need to buy either a software or pay someone that does this landing page for you. You have the closers to pay. It requires a bit of money. Now, the conversion rate is low because prospects show up cold. Like there's no trust or authority built beforehand. And as I told you, the closer literally needs to do everything from scratch. Now, inside the lead quality, I didn't even tell you that, but there are many cold prospects just booking out of curiosity. And there is between 40 to 60% no-show rate. So it's pretty hard funnel to run. Now, what about the complexity to set up? It's pretty low, let's be honest. That might be the main and only advantage of this book a call funnel. Now, there is something I should tell you about this book a call funnel, which is that it works pretty well when prospects come from YouTube long form because they already know you a bit more, they trust you a bit more because they spend between 20 and 40 minutes with you. But when it comes from ads, from IG Reels, from TikToks, you can forget about it. Because these people spend only 15 seconds with you and they will show up in the call and be like, who the fuck is this guy? And that's only if they show up in the call. So the results are 10 to 15% close rate maximum. Now, the core problem of this book a call funnel is that it assumes that your content has already done the selling. But let's be honest, a 15-second reel is not enough to pre-sell someone into a 5 to 10K offer. So the verdict, the book a call funnel is great for YouTube, but it's terrible for short form. You just fill your calendar with tire kickers. Okay, fourth funnel, the webinar funnel. You probably know it. Russell Brunson is the most famous for that. You take people from social media, you redirect them to a opt-in page. From this opt-in page, people are into the funnel. You spam content, email sequences, retargeting ads, and then they show up to the live webinar. It's like 60 to 90 minutes, and then there's the pitch and you close. So the big promise of the webinar funnel is that it's infinite scale because you sell one to many. It sounds like the passive income dream, but the problem you'll see is that it's far from passive. The lead quality is moderate because registrants are interested, but show up rates are only 20 to 30%. Now, the scalability is high because once built, the replay can run indefinitely, which is a good point. Now, what about the upfront capital? It's extremely expensive. Like the webinar software, the ads, the email sequences, the landing pages, all of that has a cost. As you can see, it's not that cheap. The conversion rate is moderate because people who watch 60 plus minutes, of course, they're warm, but this requires an audience because not a lot of people are going to watch more than 60 minutes from you. And the last point, what about the complexity to set up? This one is very high. First, webinar scripting takes weeks. There is a complex tech stack. We need email funnels. We need retargeting ads. We need to script those ads. It's complicated. To be honest, the truth about webinars is that it will work for you when you have an audience of more than 100K people. Why? Because you can fill the room with an audience of people that already know and trust you. But if you're at 5,000 to 20,000 followers, you'll just spend like 2K on ads to get 50 registrants, maybe 15 attendees, and end up with 1 or 2 sales. It's a negative ROI per month. Now, there's a myth about webinars where people think that because we can replay it, it's like passive income and everything is automated. Let me tell you that this is nonsense. A high-performing webinar requires constant tweaking, testing, and a massive volume of traffic. Webinars were the meta from 2015 to 2018. But today, people have seen 1,000 webinars and they skip straight to the pitch, to be honest. So the webinar funnel is good for people who are already making at least 50K per month with a team. Otherwise, you'll just drown in complexity. Now let's get to the fifth and last funnel, the challenge funnel. You've probably seen that in the fitness niche because a lot of fitness coaches are running it, but you can run it in any other niche. Pretty successful. You just need to get people from social media to register to a challenge with a big promise. For example, 5 days to make your first sale. Then people get redirected to an opt-in page, and from there, they get access to the challenge and to a community. And at the end of the challenge, we close it with a pitch, and that's how you make money. So the big promise behind this funnel is that the maximum engagement, the maximum conversion. And this is true because this funnel delivers the highest conversion rate of all of them. But the problem is that it's also the most complex. If we evaluate it, the lead quality is high. So it's really good because people have actually been through an entire challenge, through an entire week. So they're super warm. That's why the lead quality is great. Now, the scalability, unfortunately, is pretty low because each challenge is a manual event and requires daily live involvement. So that's why it's low. Now, about the upfront capital, it's pretty expensive, as you can see. The landing pages, the email sequences, the community platform, the content production. This is the one that is the closest to the webinar funnel, and that's why it's so expensive. On the other hand, the conversion rate is extremely high, which is a really good point because on day 5, when you're about to close the challenge with the pitch, there's an average of 15 to 30% conversion rate, which is the highest of all funnels. But when it comes to the complexity to set up, it's very, very high. Setting up a challenge funnel is a fucking nightmare. You need 5 days of content, complex email sequences, community management. You literally need an entire marketing team for that. And I mean what I say because I've analyzed a coach that was running challenge funnels. And to be honest, he got between 50 to 100 participants per challenge. And on day 5, he closes around 15 and 20 clients for 3 to 5K. This sounds amazing, right? It does. Except that he spends 3 entire weeks preparing each challenge, which basically means he can run 1 challenge per month at most. And he has a team of 4 people handling emails, community, content. He needs to pay them. So if you look at the real numbers, the challenge funnel will get you 10K to 15K profits per month. Not too bad, but that requires a team of 4 and 3 weeks of preparation. That's roughly 3 to 4K per team member. Meanwhile, with the funnel that I'm going to tell you about, my people close between 15 to 20 people every single month with 0 team. Just them and the system. Sometimes an appointment setter, of course, but that's it. So for the verdict, the challenge funnel has the highest lead quality and the highest conversion rate, which is extremely good, but it also has the highest complexity. This is reserved for coaches already making 100K per month or more with an entire team. So let me remove all of that. If we take a step back and we take a look at this table, you can see that no funnel checks every box. High lead quality, only this one. High scalability, this one. Low upfront capital, this one. High conversion rate, this one. Low complexity to set up, this one. So maybe it's impossible to check every box. Maybe no funnel on earth can be 100% optimized. To be honest, that's true, unless you stop building funnels on strategies and instead build a funnel completely based on human psychology, designing every single step of the funnel consciously to align with how the brain works, with how the human brain actually thinks, feels, and decides to buy. My friend, here is the truth. All the funnels we've seen today, they all have the same fundamental problem. They all try to force a sale, and that's why they're not optimized. The DM funnel forces conversations. The community funnel forces engagement. The book a call funnel forces bookings. The webinar funnel forces 90 minutes of attention. And the challenge funnel forces 5 days of commitment. Different formats, but same mistake. They were never designed for human psychology. That's why none of them are ever fully optimized. But what if instead of forcing people, it was actually the opposite? What if your prospects were actually the ones forcing you to take them in? I know it sounds crazy, but what if they came to you already 100% persuaded? Not 90%, not even 99%, 100% persuaded that you are the one, that your offer is the only logical solution for them. In other words, how would your life look like if you never had to force a sale ever again? That's the question I'm asking you, because that's exactly what life looks like with this funnel right here that you can't see the name yet, but I'm gonna uncover this right now. This funnel was built entirely on human psychology. And let's be clear, I didn't create this funnel out of thin air. Actually, when I was studying human psychology in Switzerland, I discovered something critical. I discovered that before a human being can buy anything, three very specific psychological triggers need to be activated in their brain. Think of them like three switches you need to flip in your prospect's brain. The switch number one is trust. You need to get people to trust you. The switch number two is authority. You need to get people to see you as the expert. And the third one is connection. You need to get people to connect with you on the personal level. Now, the absolute rule about it is that if you can activate all three of them, like 1, 2, and 3, you basically won. But if one of them is off, like that, the person don't buy. Unless you force it with aggressive and unethical sales tactics that might work once out of 10. I mean, if you want to play that game, just go ahead. It's not my way of doing it. My way is different because I use my knowledge of psychology to build a funnel specifically designed around human behavior, which means that I don't guess. I study the human brain and I create strategies that are the most optimal for how it behaves. My friend, the difference between others' funnel and mine is that I don't sell people. I let people sell themselves. And it's all about understanding how to activate those three strategic areas of the brain. That way they feel like they made the decision to buy from you, when in reality, the entire funnel was designed to quietly guide that decision by activating the right triggers in the right order. So at the end of the day, you, my friend, are the puppet master behind it all, discreetly pulling the strings and activating the triggers that need to be activated in order for them to buy from you. And that's the problem with every funnel we've seen here. For the DM funnel, it might flip one switch, which is connection, a little, because it's a bit personal. But trust, authority, 0. You're just another random person in their DMs. Now, the community funnel, it can flip authority if your content is good, but trust, connection, none of them. You're just one member among 1,000. What about the book A Call funnel? It literally flips 0 switches. The prospect shows up in the call with all 3 off, and your closer has to flip them all in 30 minutes. Good luck. Now, for the webinar funnel, it literally tries to flip all 3 in 90 minutes. The problem is that 70% drop off before the end, and people leave with maybe half a switch activated. It's not enough. And the challenge funnel, this is the only one that truly flips all of them 3. Trust, authority, connection, but it takes 5 days and insane complexity. So we are facing a dilemma. It's either you flip the switches, but it's extremely complex, like the challenge funnel, or it's super simple, or you flip nothing, like the VSL funnel. Now, what if there was a funnel that flipped all 3 switches automatically in 48 to 72 hours with almost no complexity? Friend, welcome to the pre-suasion funnel. The pre-suasion funnel is a funnel that was designed to activate all 3 buying triggers sequentially through your content. So instead of just pitching your offer, you guide people through an entire psychological journey that quietly manipulates them to admire you, trust you, love you, and ultimately buy from you. Now, why is it called pre-suasion funnel and not just persuasion funnel? Simply because with this funnel, people are persuaded that your offer is the only logical solution even before the call happens. They're basically pre-sold before the call. And that's why I call it the pre-suasion. You persuade people before the call. So they're not persuaded, they're persuaded. Now, how does it work? It's a 4-step process. First, you need to attract your people. You do it through content and through ads. Then what you do is that you show proof right away on your profile. For example, you show your client results and also show client results in the pinned post. And that activates the first trigger, the trust trigger. Boom. As you can see, first one is flipped while the other ones remain unflipped yet. After that, what you're going to do is that you're going to nurture people with high value video. This builds authority. And what does it mean? It means that the authority trigger gets flipped. And as you can see, first one flipped, second one flipped, both of them, just this one is remaining. And that's why the next step, the 4th one, is connection. You need to get people to connect with you on a personal level. You do that by sharing personal stories, personal values, and a bit of your lifestyle online. So people feel like they know you, and boom, connection trigger flipped. All of them three are activated and the lights are on. After all of that, when someone shows up on the call, all three switches are already on, and the closer just asks, when do you want to start? So the close time is around 15 minutes. Now, I'm going to exclusively reveal the full structure behind the pre-suasion funnel. Here's actually the entire content strategy behind this psychology-backed funnel. There are 4 pillars that you must build your content on. The first one is attraction. That's where you post viral focused content. The goal is to get people in. Then we have the first trigger, trust. That's proof focused content. That's when you post your results, your client results, client interviews, pretty much anything that shows that you get results and that what you do works. Then you have the second switch, which is authority. You build that through value focused content. When you share value online, people can see that you are an expert and that you know what you're talking about. And then the third switch is connection. That's through authenticity focused content, as I told you, sharing your personal stories, values, etc. So as you can see, 1/4 of the content is focused on acquisition, and the 3 other fourth are focused on conversion. These ones are what I call the 3 layers of conversion. First layer is trust, second layer is authority, and third layer is connection. Now, to give you an idea, around 20% of the entire content will be viral content. 20 other percent will be authority content. 35% will be trust content, and you'll understand why in a few seconds, and 25% will be connection content. You'll also understand why it's a bit more than viral and authority. So, as I told you, what we are doing here is that we are bringing people into an entire psychological journey. It starts here. People get in your funnel with attracting reels, which are the viral focused reels. What I mean by viral focused is that we will steal viral formats from competitors and viral hooks and recreate them ourselves. That's how we get a lot of traction. That's how we get people to enter the funnel, and then the journey starts here. Number 1, we flip the trust trigger. Then people go here and we flip the authority trigger, as you can see with the yellow content. And from here, people keep going further down the funnel and we flip the connection content with the red content. As you can see, the color match each part here. Now, why does this funnel perform so well in 2026? Number 1, trust is lower than ever. Everyone has been scammed and no one trusts anyone online anymore. People are sick of salesy coaches, pushy tactics, and empty promises. And the pre-suasion funnel, as you've seen, was specifically built to counter this with a higher percentage of trust content. The good thing with this funnel is that people choose like they are choosing, not like you are pushing them to choose. And that's the whole difference. Now, trust is low. That's the problem number 1. But problem number 2 is that competition is higher than ever. The coaching market is more crowded than it has ever been. And on top of that, every day new coaches enter the space. So let's be honest, most of them, they just sound the same, they look the same, they sell the same thing. And from the prospect's point of view, they all blend together. That's why positioning is no longer optional. You need to stand out from all this mass, all this market. And the pre-suasion funnel uses psychological mechanisms to position yourself and to position your offer as unique. We leverage psychology to position yourself uniquely in the prospect's mind so they remember you, like you, and buy from you. That way you occupy a distinct psychological position in their mind. That's something I'm not going to go through today because it's about positioning, but it's part of a pre-suasion funnel. And I would say that's a big part of why we get such good results for clients. And problem number 3 in today's day and age is that attention is shorter than ever. But guess what? Intent is stronger than ever. Like, people scroll faster, but when people stop, their intent is higher. Like, someone who watches 3 to 4 of your reels and 1 YouTube video is more qualified than someone that attended a webinar in 2018. And by the way, good news is that it's so easy to build an audience in 2026. In 2020, you needed a month to build an audience. But in 2026, you can hit 500K views with one video that goes viral. That's what actually happened to me, as you can see here. Almost 700K views on a random video when I had less than 1,000 followers. It means you can flip the switches of thousands of people in just 1 week. So my friend, this is like e-commerce 10 to 12 years ago. Early movers printed money, while late movers, they fought for scraps. And the pre-suasion funnel is in that same window right now. Those who build it today will dominate the period between 2026 and 2030. I can guarantee, but you gotta be quick because there's a lot of competition. Don't forget. So if we get back to the table, what about the pre-suasion funnel? The lead quality is very high because only people who consumed many pieces of content will book a call with you, and all the switches will be activated in their brain. The scalability is very high because you create a piece of content once and it gets seen thousands or millions of times. The upfront capital is pretty low. You don't need complex softwares or an entire team. You just need your phone and a free editing app, and that's it. When it comes to the conversion rate, it's very high. We are around 40 to 60% close rate. And the calls are no longer than 30 minutes. It's between 15 and 30 minutes. Why? Because there are fewer objections, because we handle everything in the content. And the complexity to set up is very low. You don't need to hire anyone up until you're at 50K per month. So let's take a step back. Look at that. Let me remove those circles. Look at that. What do you think? By the way, it's not my opinion, because it's human psychology. So here is the thing. I could sell you on the pre-suasion funnel for hours, but I don't need to, because while you've been watching this video, you've been living it. Think about it. You clicked on the video, boom, attraction. I showed you some proof at the beginning, boom, trust. You learned my funnel and my framework, boom, authority. And now you feel understood, boom, connection. I just flipped all 3 switches in one video. Now, you have 2 options. Option 1, you keep running DMs, communities, webinars, you work 60 hours per week, and you close 2-3 clients per month. Option 2, you build your pre-suasion funnel in the next 30 days, and in the next 60 days, you close 10 to 15 clients at 5 to 8K. All of that with half the effort. Now, you need to understand something crucial that probably no one will tell you. But if this works so well in 2026, it's because we're still early. In 2 to 3 years, it will be saturated, just like webinars in 2020. Remember that the coaching market will triple by 2030. So the question isn't if you will win, it's how much will you take. So if you want my help building your pre-suasion funnel, click the link in the description. We will audit your business, identify the real bottlenecks, and map a clear scaling roadmap during a free consulting session. But please understand this. The funnel is just the entry point. What we actually do at Clay Consulting goes far beyond just the pre-suasion funnel. We actually implement an entire scaling infrastructure inside your business. An infrastructure made up of content systems, ad systems, conversion flow, sales flow. We implement trained closers, trained setters. We also implement the most optimized delivery structure. And on top of that, we also fix your positioning, build your offer architecture. We basically take care of everything, and that's how we scale. So if it's a good fit, we'll work together to install everything your business needs to grow without the guesswork and the years of learning. But for that, remember that the decision is yours. I'll support you, I'll guide you, but I can't make decisions for you. So here's my last question for you. Are you ready to stop working in your business and start using an infrastructure that works for you? I'll see you on the call.